I never throw out my chicken liver. I cut them in half, drop them in boiling water, and do a sauce with water, garlic, sugar, cilantro, and roasted sesame oil, balsamic vinegar, and soy sauce. It's a kind of Chinese sauce, and my wife absolutely adores that recipe. You mix it together, drain your chicken liver. They are barely cooked. They should be slightly pink inside. Add them to the sauce, stir it in. This is one of the greatest hors d'oeuvres that you can do. People will love it. You can even serve it with pasta. Surprise your friend with easy, tasty recipe. I am Jacques Pépin, and this is fast food my way. Happy cooking.
Production funding for this series has been brought to you by
Cuisinart, with the next generation of food processors. From bread dough to pizza to stir fries, we do the work to save you time. Cuisinart, the next generation.
And by SCHARFFEN, makers of fine artisan dark chocolates, recipes available at scharffenberger.com. And by Spectrum Organics, a purveyor of fine culinary oils and condiments. Spectrum, the taste of goodness. And by OXO Good Grips, makers of kitchen tools that make everyday living easier.
Right out of the cellar, a nice bottle of rosé. I have a menu full of surprises today with ingredients that you probably are not used to use in the way I'm going to use them. First, I have a tomato surprise. The tomato will look whole when in fact it's going to be stuffed inside with something. Then we have a grilled striped bass or other type of filet, thick filet, with a Romesco sauce, which is done with ancho chilies and walnut or sometimes almond. A gratin of pumpkin and cherries in Armagnac sauce or cognac and so forth. And I'm going to start with the gratin of pumpkin. When I was a kid, when I came to this country, the only time that we had pumpkin, it was in the type of gratin that I'm going to do today. You know, it is what my mother used to do. And then when I came here, my wife showed me how to make pumpkin pie. Well, I learned it at Howard Johnson before. And I couldn't believe that you would put sugar with pumpkin, which is really considered a vegetable in France. But now I'm used to it. In any case, it's a mixture of eggs and this, and with some Swiss cheese in it. So I'm going to put a piece of Swiss cheese here to grate it. You can do it in your machine or you can do it by hand as well. So that's it. So there's always a piece to stay for the chef here. Here we are. And I have about 3/4 of a cup to a cup of cheese that I'm going to put in there. Very easy to do. This, of course, is pumpkin without any flavoring. You don't want cinnamon in there or you don't want anything else, but just plain puree of pumpkin. Now, if you feel like cooking it yourself, you can do that, but it's basically the same thing. You know, when I use a can, I look at the can, what do you have in there? And if I have, like in that case, pure flesh of pumpkin, I have nothing else in front, so I have no problem using it. I have 3 eggs in there. One, again, break your eggs on something flat. So like that, you open it, as opposed to opening it on something, you know, like this, where the shell goes inside and often contaminate the eggs or break the yolk. So you have this there, salt, pepper, and about a cup of cream. Yeah, about that amount. It's a rich gratin, which I often do for Thanksgiving, you know. So here we mix it together in seconds. I'm going to add the cheese to it at that point. I didn't want to leave it at the beginning. I don't want it to be too fine in there, just mixed, you know. And that's it. And then we do that in a gratin dish. I'm going to butter that gratin dish. It's about 6 cups, 4 cups. That's gratin. This is a cast iron type of gratin, you know. Good. And we pour that in there. See, the best way really to clean up your food processor when you have something gooey like that is to put it back 1 second, to turn it. The speed will clean up the blade. Will that clean up your blade? Then you grab the rest with your rubber spatula. Waste not, want not. I never waste anything. Okay, just fill up the bowl. That's it. It's even good this way. And a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top, grated Parmesan cheese. And we are ready for the oven. You know, about 400 degrees. That will take like 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Okay. Good. Now I can concentrate on the main dish, which is going to be a fish, because we start with the tomato surprise, and we're going to have that fish with a Romesco sauce. This is a really Spanish type of sauce. I have ancho chilies here that I add to it. I love those ancho chilies, the flavor of it, and very conventionally people are going to take this and soak it for quite a while. Sometimes I don't soak it at all. And I learned that from Rick Bellis. We do it this way. So I leave it all like this, just having the center. Is this, and we're going to put that into a skillet directly with olive oil. This is in pieces. You can see, you can tear it apart like this. I have all kind of other thing in that sauce. Too hard. Well, I could use a knife also. Here we are. And almond in it. The type of almond like that you use in Spain are unpeeled almond. So it's an interesting sauce here. Onion. About half a cup of onion that I have here. Any old way, because we're going to put that in the blender anyway. So half a cup of onion. A little bit of jalapeno pepper. And again there, you know, I cut all around the seed. And usually I taste it. Not too hot. Sometimes it's really hot. I mean, from jalapenos to serrano to, and if you take an habaneros, the round one toward the bonnet, those are really hot. Okay, the garlic. Can slice the garlic this way. All right. And I put the garlic in there as well. This is going to go with the fish here, and actually I could start the fish because it's going to take a little while. Those fillets are quite large. And I have salt and pepper on it. There I have some. Just a little bit. And I'm going to put this on this here. This is a really nifty, nice grill, you know, that you put directly on top of your stove. And it's a non-stick, so hopefully it's not going to stick. You never know. And then, okay, so I have the ancho in it. I have the hot pepper. I have the almond. I have onion. So I have to put tomato, a little bit of vinegar, and a little bit of water. So about a good cup of tomato. And it's a sauce which, as I say, is classic in Spain. Maybe not done exactly the way I'm doing it, but mine is better. This is what we have in the kitchen at my house. My wife, it's not even me, my wife had a sign in the kitchen which says, mine is better. You have beautiful color, as you can see there. The vinegar, red wine vinegar, about a couple of tablespoons, and about a quarter of a cup of water, maybe. Or half a cup. Okay, that's going to cook 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then we're going to emulsify it into the blender. And after all that work, I think I deserve to taste my wine. This is a wine from the south of France, old rosé like this, done with Grenache usually and Syrah, and those are really good. Terrific with that fish. I could have a Spanish wine also, even a red wine like a Tempranillo would go well. I think my fish is almost done. Another minute for the thick piece here. So I'm going to cover it with this, give it a little more steam, and during that time I'll finish the sauce. So here is the sauce. Stop it there. We're going to put that in the blender rather than in the food processor at that point, because I really want to emulsify it, and the blender of course turns much faster than the food processor. So here we are. Whoop. Good. This I really want the anchois to be totally emulsified, you know. I want to taste it too. It's good, this salt. With salt and a little more olive oil. Well, let's be generous. Okay. This is it. Okay. Here I have a thick, heavy, beautiful sauce here. Quite different than your conventional sauce. And let's see. Yeah. Up, cleaning up. You can, you know, when you're not sure with this, just go with a knife or something and go inside, you know, and go whether you can separate it, and as you can see here, then close it back together. No one will know you've been there, you know, or you can just go through like that. If it's really tender, or I go through like that, I know it's cooked through. Okay. Let's see which piece is the nicest, this or this. Well, it's about the same. Here. Those are about 6 ounces. Yeah, 6 ounces filet, you know. But like that's plenty of that filet. And you could use blackfish, we call the tautog, or black sea bass. Actually, salmon would work quite well also. Boy, that thing is a non-stick pan, so that's why everything sticks to it. Okay. Here. Well, I was going to serve the sauce separate, but when you see the way it looks, then you put it right on top, like this. At least a fillet of it, and you can serve more sauce on the side. A bit of chive. I put it all over like this, and you know what I think would be good on this is a little bit of a fresh, you know, extra virgin olive oil like this. That never hurt. Okay. If we are here, a grilled bass with the Romesco sauce. And now I'm going to do the first course, which is the tomato surprise. And it is a surprise as the tomatoes are actually hollowed and stuffed. And the first thing you want to do with this is to remove the peduncle or the stem here and drop that into boiling water. That will, in seconds, depending how ripe the tomato is, that will help you to release the skin. Another way of releasing the skin is to do it with a knife to cut all around. Another way is to burn it on top of the flame. And the skin will come up. All that are different ways. You can even use a vegetable peeler, especially those which are serrated. You have serrated edge here, and then it goes quite well, as you can see, to peel up tomato, even when they are ripe, because the serrated edge is really good for that. So maybe we never have to boil water again to clean up tomato. Here it is. You can dry this. Actually, you dry that in the oven. And we use that as decoration, like dry, it's kind of crunchy and all that in top of something. I could have done that on this. Okay, here is my tomato here. As you can see, often people will put the tomato in ice water. It really doesn't need to. I think it takes some of the taste out of it, so out of the water. It's a bit hard on your finger, but if you clench your teeth, it's okay. Here it is. Voilà. So I'm removing all the skin of the tomato that I have there. And that tomato now, we cut the bottom of it this way. And we're going to hollow the tomato. So what I use, well, either a melon bowler which cut. I mean, actually at home, very often I use a measuring spoon because I have an old measuring spoon in aluminum, one of those old ones, and they tend to be quite sharp and thin, So a bit of the juice. I can also use one of those spoons. So basically you remove the inside that you're going to, here it is, the whole piece here, and the whole juice. And now we have, you can even use your finger to pull out the seed. Okay. And that tomato now is ready to be stuffed again, And this is the bottom of the tomato that we'll use as a garnish. So, what I do next, I take a little piece of onion, chop finely, little dice of mushroom, of zucchini. I spread them out on a tray like this, and in the oven about 5 minutes, just so that they sweat a little bit and they get a bit softer. So this is what I have here. Instead of having them raw, because raw, it's not as nice as doing it this way. Okay, then nuts. I have nuts here that I can crush or break, walnut that is, a little bit of garlic, maybe one small clove of garlic. You don't want too much garlic here. I want to chop it fine. So crush it first. I'm cleaning up my knife here, right, on the table, to really have a puree of garlic, Okay, here I have this, salt, pepper, a dash of red wine vinegar, or balsamic here, one or the other is fine, and a little bit of olive oil. I have a nice mixture here that I could actually use for other things. So, those tomatoes are hollowed. This one, the one that I made now, so we're going to start stuffing it. Okay. You keep them this way for the time being. And one after the other. So there, of course, you want to put your tomato upside down. So you may want to put it gently like this because you want that tomato to look like if it's whole, rather. So now the dice of your tomato here, we're going to use it to do little dice. Nothing is wasted. And that will be sprinkled around the tomato. We sprinkled a little bit of red onion around the tomato as well. Here. Not too fine, you know. We'll have shallot like this. Here we are. And a couple of olives. The olive you can leave them whole or cut them in half or in pieces. Again, give you color, give you texture, give you some crunchiness of this. And even chive that you could put around as well. You know what I say, when the garden is on, I get crazy with all the herb. But that's a nice surprise. People have absolutely no idea that this is, of course, stuffed inside. You can put a nice sprig of basil, you know, around if you want to make a little hole here to make it all together. A little trickling of an extra virgin olive oil on top here. And here is a first course of a surprise fit for a king, you know. A little bit of fleur de sel, a little bit on top here, add a very special touch. I'm going to get the gratin now. I'm sure it's about ready. This is not a pumpkin pie, a gratin of pumpkin, but look how beautiful it is. It's about cook. Now I can see. I mean, you can even check with your finger a little bit like a custard, you know. And this is great dish to go. So this is going to be so that will stay hot quite a long time here, you know. Okay, and then now le dessert, and the dessert is going to be cherries. And I have a can of those black cherries from the Oregon, and often I use those, you know, to stuff crepe with it or do things like that. We do something a bit different today. So what I want to do is to put the juice of the cherries first in there, usually about a cup of juice you're going to have in there. I want to bring it to a boil. Bring it to a boil and reduce it by half and thicken it a little bit with a little bit of potato starch or corn starch or whatever, and then finish it with a good cognac or Armagnac, you know. This happened to be an American cognac, and serve it with pound cake like this. So, and a little bit of sour cream, maybe. You want a bit of your more cherries on top, and of course a fair amount of the juice. Those are large, big, so-called big cherries, you know. Okay, and maybe a tiny bit of sour cream on top, if you want, so-called to gild the lily. Here it is, and that's a great simple dessert with our menu. Maybe I put a little bit of mint on top of this. And with this, I think I should taste the cognac that I put in there. It would be nice. Life can be a bowl of cherries, and it's especially good with a little brandy. Happy cooking!
Visit our website at kqed.org/morefastfoodmyway to learn more about Jacques Pépin. You can watch shows online, view extra clips of Jacques in the kitchen, print selected recipes from the series, and meet some of the people behind the scenes. Call 1-800-937-5387 or log on to channel9store.com to order the book with over 100 recipes and color photographs for $32 plus shipping, or to order the complete series of all 26 shows on DVD for $39.99 plus shipping. Production funding for this series has been brought to you by
Cuisinart, with the next generation of food processors. From bread dough to pizza to stir fries, we do the work to save you time. Cuisinart, the next generation.
And by SCHARFFEN, makers of fine artisan dark chocolates, recipes available at SCHARFFEN And by Spectrum Organics, a purveyor of fine culinary oils and condiments. Spectrum, the taste of goodness. And by OXO Good Grips, makers of kitchen tools that make everyday living easier.
A KQED television production.